Hello, I'm Cecelia Curtis, and this is the Friendship Tour, where we talk about the true gift of friendship with some of my truest friends. I just want to pause for a second before we get started and say if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, however you like to listen to podcasts, just take a minute to do so. That way you won't ever miss an episode. Well, today's guest is no stranger to the Friendship Tour. It's my best friend, Lauren Gray. And today we're going to talk about feeling left out, how it feels, what it means, why it happens, what to do about it. Yeah. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Cecilia.
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's going to be a little experiment today because today is my first time trying to record with my kids all at home and all of them awake. So we'll see how it goes. We may have a little visitor at some point. We'll see.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning of the episodes, I like to do a favorite friendship moment. But today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about one of my least favorite friendship moments. And that's because it is so closely connected to today's topic. And because I think our friendship is strong enough at this point that we can handle talking about one of our least favorite moments. Is that
Oh,
okay?
no. Yeah.
I know you don't know what to expect when
I
I
don't know what it is, so I think that's making me a little anxious, but
good.
bring it on.
I want you to be a little anxious, a little we'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
Well, I know you actually don't like when we talk about this, so I don't talk about it often. But when we started talking about feeling left out, a story popped in my mind. And it's from the fourth grade.
Oh my God.
There were two girls in the fourth grade who decided they didn't like me. And they formed a whole club called the Do Not Like Cecelia Club. And not only was there an actual name to the club, but then you guys had a nickname for the club, DNLC. So it was honestly fine that those two girls didn't like me. But the problem was they recruited many other girls in fourth grade. So we had three classes in our little Christian school, and they recruited a lot of the other girls in fourth grade into their club. Um, you were one of those girls who got recruited into the club. So, a couple episodes ago, you talked about how you didn't really remember me in third or fourth grade. And I was like, I didn't say it at the time, but I was thinking, how? That's messed up. Like, there was this whole club that you were part of, and you didn't even remember that.
No,
Okay.
that's okay. Can I interject?
Please,
Okay.
please.
So it's not that I didn't remember you in third and fourth grade, it's that I didn't attach a grade to the years.
Okay.
So, because there was a story that I told you that I won't share about us taking spelling test,
Okay.
and that was in fourth grade. So, um, it's not that I didn't remember you; it's just that I didn't attach that those those experiences or those situations to a grade.
Got it.
So I think that's what it is. It's not, of course, I remember you. I just wasn't associating it with a specific grade.
Okay. Well, I certainly remember fourth grade. I remember this club. If I recall correctly, there were even little dues that were paid in the club. I don't know who got the money or what you did with the money, but no one played with me at recess. No one talked to me at lunch. It was pretty extreme and pretty terrible for about 4 days. Only 4 days, thank God. But I didn't tell my parents because, I'm not a snitch. Like I knew it would end at some point. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell the teachers. I just waited it out. And for 4 days, I just felt completely left out. At some point, another little girl at our school just couldn't take it anymore. So I never told, but some other little girl couldn't take it anymore. She felt like The group was being mean, and she told the teachers or told her parents. I don't know who she told, but just like that, the club was over. And we all became friends again, except those two girls who started the club. Like, I didn't want them back as friends. But I got you back, and I got, everyone else back as friends, and we're still best friends today. So there are no hard feelings. Um, but yeah, that's the first time I remember feeling left out. And it
Ugh.
sucked. I know. It sucked.
I knew I first of all, Cecilia did not tell me that she was going to share this story.
No, I didn't.
However, I knew it had to be this story because this story haunts me.
Yes.
Seriously. It has always haunted me since whatever I was thinking in fourth grade, which was ridiculous. Yeah, I the only thing that I can think of is that it haunts me. I hate that that happened. I hate that that happened to you. I hate that I was even remotely associated with it. However, I am glad that um, after 4 days it was over and that we were able to successfully resume our friendship because I would have been devastated if we did not, but not my proudest moment.
Well, to be fair, you were like, we were little, and
I
things
know, but
happen.
we're not little anymore, and I still am disappointed in myself for going along with whoever it was. I don't remember all the details like you two do because, of course, it happened to you, but yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, it sucked. But I promise I'm over it and I don't discuss it.
I
Like,
believe
we
you.
don't talk about it. I promise
Yeah.
I've healed fully. We don't ever talk about it, but I know the last time I brought it up was years ago. And I could tell the story caused you so much pain. I was like, okay, we're not going to talk about it again until I start a podcast and tell the whole world. And then I'll tell the story.
Yeah,
So,
please, yeah.
but no, it's fine. And I would say I learned so much, in that process. Again, we were little kids. So some of it was just us being little kids. But I learned that, there's some messed up people out there. And sometimes they just do mean things and you don't know why. They just do. Someone just decides something. They're just not going to like you for whatever reason. And that's just how it goes. But then sometimes there are reasons people give for not liking you or for leaving you out.
Right.
And in that situation, I remember the girls got in trouble, but then the teachers came to talk to me and they said, well, the girls said that sometimes you need to, and I don't remember how they phrased it, but the gist was the girls in fourth grade thought I needed to be nicer and I needed to be kinder.
What?
And
I don't
and
remember
here
that.
was one of the first times I heard this word that I was bossy. That was what
Mm.
the teachers brought to me, little fourth grade me. And I was like, okay, but really a whole club? But I did take that with me and I've had to learn the lesson over and over and over again. Like, you need to be nicer, you need to be kinder. I don't want to say I've learned the lesson that I don't need to be bossy. Like, I think there's a way we tell girls to be bossy that we don't tell boys.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to get stuff done. And if that means you come across as bossy, I'm sorry, but you should still be kind in that process. So I
Right.
did learn that then, and I continue to learn it. But I also learned that there are really kind people out there. So there are messed up people, and then sometimes I'm being the messed up one. And sometimes there are just really kind people out there. And there was a girl, the whole way the club ended was that there was a girl um, who couldn't take it. She couldn't take it. And she was the one who ended it. Like, she thought it was exceptionally mean and she told. So I'm thankful to her. Loretta was her name. I still remember her name.
I
So
remember Loretta.
um and I still love her for that because my little 9-year-old life was in shambles. And if it wasn't for her, like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. There was
I was
one other time, I know you just went silent on me.
I hate that. I mean, I know we were little girls
Yeah,
and little people sometimes do mean things, but I don't know. It just it bothers me even uh, now in my 40s. So yeah, but I'm glad that we're able to talk about it.
yeah.
And I don't remember the whole bossy thing.
No kid ever said that to me. It was the teacher. It was the teacher who
Oh,
said it.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is not Lauren in the hot seat. I promise. This is definitely about feeling left
Right.
out. And
Yes.
that was just the first time that I recall feeling left out. And there was another time, and I was older, like a young adult, maybe 18-ish. And I was friends with these two other girls, and the three of us were good friends. But two of them, the other two of them, they went out to get tattoos. And no one told me, no one invited me. And for a second, I mean, more than a second, but I felt left out. I was like, why didn't they call me? Why didn't anyone tell me we were going to go get matching tattoos? They didn't get matching, but they did get tattoos. And then I stepped back and I was like, I don't even want a tattoo. Like, why am I upset? I don't even want a tattoo. And then I started thinking if I had been there, I probably would have gotten one just because that's what everyone was doing. So I started out feeling left out. And then once I thought about it, I felt thankful that I had not
Mm.
been invited because knowing me and you know me, I would have overthought that tattoo for the next 40 years. And I'm glad that I was spared that experience. So sometimes feeling left out, like it sucks, but it's okay. Sometimes there's a reason, a purpose, and it all turns out okay.
That that leads me to think about you asked me about a time that I felt left out. I could not remember a specific time that I felt left out, but when you were going through that story just now, it made me think of when I was probably late teens to early 20s, or like senior year in high school and into college. I wasn't that girl that people called to go out and go drinking or go, to some guy's dorm or,
Hmm.
something like that, because that just wasn't my speed. That wasn't my
Right.
style. And when I would see other girls kind of going here or there and I wasn't necessarily invited, I would feel left out. But I knew, why would they invite me? Because that is not the type of girl that I am.
Mm.
So I felt, it was a tough balance because you want to stay true to yourself, but then you also don't want to feel left out. You want that invitation regardless, even if you turn it down.
Yeah, I think it's that part. I think you want the invitation. You want the
Yeah,
invitation now that we're grown-ups. You want the invitation to coffee. You want the invitation to the birthday party or to the winery, or when you see the coworkers going out for lunch, you're
right.
like, just ask. Even if you don't want to
Yes.
go, a lot of people still like to be asked. I will say some people don't actually want to be asked. You know, the true introverts
Mm,
sometimes don't even want to be asked because then they're in an awkward situation where they have to come up with a way to decline. But sometimes it is nice. It's nice to just ask.
yeah, because I feel like it means something for that person to ask you because they're
Right.
extending the invitation. You're hoping that it's genuine, a genuine extension of like, hey, come join me or come join us. But I think there's just still power in the invite, even if
Yeah.
you have to turn it down or if it's something that you're really not interested in.
Yeah. You know, I think there are ways that it's clear how to fix the situation if someone is feeling left out. You know, just extend the invitation. That's pretty clear. But there are a lot of other times people feel left out, and it's not really anyone's doing. It's just life has happened. Maybe there's been a life transition. One friend has gotten married and the other friend didn't. One friend has had, a baby and the other friend didn't. One friend is getting a divorce and the other friend isn't. There are all these life transitions, and sometimes people feel left
Mm,
out or left behind when it's unintentional.
right.
It's not that anyone's doing anything. It's just our lives are not going to move exactly at the same pace. Um, can you think of a time that you felt left out in one of those more life transition type ways?
Hmm. Possibly when, and ironically not you, because you
Hmm.
got married years and years before I did, but I did have a friend who got married, and it was an unusual situation because it's not that I felt left out. I just felt uncomfortable
Hmm.
because she was in her life, that was her situation. And I was just used to it being her and I, whereas it wasn't her and I any longer. It was like the three of us.
Hmm.
And I didn't necessarily feel comfortable with that. Her husband is a great guy, nothing against him. But our times together became the three of us. And it made for an uncomfortable situation for me, whereas I don't think that she ever saw it that way. So I don't know. I guess I felt left out in the sense that we didn't have the same relationship anymore.
Hmm.
And I thought that, we could maintain that, and it just changed. And she
Right.
didn't see there being a difference, but for me there was. So then I would leave feeling left out, that, oh, our relationship isn't the same.
Hmm.
um I don't know, that I feel that happens a lot to some folks, especially if your life experiences don't line or align with one another. Or it can happen, because I don't feel like that happened between you and I. um but I don't know, that was a time that I remember specifically feeling very uncomfortable and kind of on the outside
Yeah.
looking in.
Well, it may have been different too for that friendship because I did get married earlier than you did, but I didn't live near you anyway,
Right.
So it's not
Yeah.
like you were popping over to my house after work and we were hanging out, going to lunch a
Yeah.
lot. We already lived in different states. So maybe you didn't feel the marriage the way you felt it with a friend who you were used to spending a lot of time with. Yeah.
Right. And I know, and I told you, I was like, I'll think of all these things after. But yeah, I mean, I just thought of another friend who we would spend a good amount of time together. And then once she became serious with her now husband, the relationship changed.
Yeah.
And so instead of those extra moments that we would spend together, or like drop by or something like that, they became few and far between, because she had someone, in her life now that, not took my place, but filled the space, so to
Yeah.
speak. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I was one of the first of my friends to get married. So I don't remember ever feeling left out in that way, but I was definitely one of the last to have kids.
mm,
So we had this long stretch of time that we were married with no kids, and we had a lot of fun. But at some point, we started looking around and we were like, okay, either we're going to have to hang out with 20 somethings, and we were no longer in our 20s, or we go to parties with people our age and there were all these kids, and that didn't feel right. It felt
yeah.
weird. Um, and I'll tell you, I don't know if I've told you this before, but when you called me, I remember where I was standing, what I was doing. When you called me to say that you were expecting your son, I was shocked and excited and happy, But I was like, daggone it, now I gotta have a baby. Like, I gotta figure this out. Because in my mind, I was like, no matter what happens, it's gonna be Lauren and me. We're gonna be sitting on the beach somewhere as little old ladies. And then my mind switched to, no, it's gonna be Lauren and me and some kid on the beach. So I'm like, we gotta figure this out. So I'm actually really glad that your son came along first because it forced me to like think about some things differently in my life. I think I had just resolved that it wasn't going to happen and I felt kind of settled. And these things started lining up that made me think, oh, maybe we need to rethink this and do some things differently. But yeah, I definitely felt left out. I did. I don't
You
think I even, I don't think I responded to you the way that I probably could have.
you didn't. I was
I
just gonna
know.
say that. I could tell in your voice. I remember where I was sitting when I told you. I was like, I've got to call Cecelia. I have to
Yeah.
tell her because I was just like, oh no, I'm like seriously pregnant. So
Yeah.
I was like, I have, and we were, of course, we weren't in the same state. So I remember I could hear that like tone in your voice, like, hmm. So, um,
Yeah.
but that's life, and I didn't take offense to it or anything. I
Okay.
could just tell you were shocked.
Yeah, my bad, because you want people to, like, not think about themselves in moments like that, but, yeah,
But I think we all do,
I know,
especially
I definitely felt something.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I probably would have done something similar because it's like I don't know. I I get it. I get it. I
Okay.
do. I understand the response.
Well, thank you. Thank you for understanding. Um, yeah, so, I mean, we talked about things that people intentionally do to leave you out, and then there are the things that aren't so intentional. Friends starting careers and your career gets stalled for some reason. That also sometimes has
Yeah.
people feeling left out. Or maybe there are friends traveling the world and you're at home with three little babies and maybe you feel left out. I don't know. There are all different reasons people feel left out. But I think it happens to all of us. Well, thank you.
Yes.
I think this was fun. It was interesting. It was different. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
different. I
I'm
hope I didn't
still.
spring too much on you with that story, but it
Oh
had
my
to come out.
gosh. I'm gonna go tell Terry.
We had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I love you. You know you'll
Love
be
you
back
too.
for something else. So thank
Absolutely.
you for being such an amazing friend and guest, and one of my favorite people to talk to on the friendship tour. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Seal. Love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.